Well, and it's just so fun to be able to talk to people. I guess, like I always say, Sundays are a day where I can, like, there's no noise. That's what I want to say, no noise. But when you have radical
Well, and
love
it's just so
and
fun
you're
to be able
so
to talk to people.
positive,
I guess, like I always
it's
say,
just good.
It
That's all
is.
I can say. And so it's just a time that's really positive. So
You know,
what have you been doing this week? What's been going on this week?
just studying.
You're always studying.
I know. Listen, there's always something to study, though. Honestly, I mean, I haven't been studying just like securities and things like that. I've been reading books. I don't know. I just feel like, like I said before, those that don't read aren't any better than those that can't read. And I think, sometimes even if you only get one little nugget, one little piece out of something, like a reminder or a discipline, like, do this for success. Get up in the morning, get organized. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just talking in general. If you could just learn one thing that's going to help you and change your life, wow, why not do it? And yeah, so now I take things that my wife's always going, why are you studying that? That doesn't make any sense. You know what? You never know until you don't have it. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I would have read that book, or I wish I would have followed up on that, because it was, and especially like these tests, everything is relevant, because it has an impact on each one of us. But it's not like one field is just one field. It spews off into all these different things: house building, relationships. I mean, honestly, every single thing you can possibly imagine. So isn't it better to go into a gunfight with all the bullets in your gun versus one or none? And that's what half the people that I talk to every day, they only got one bullet. So after they tell their story or whatever, that's it. They got nothing left. And even some of my friends that I played with, I enjoy some knowledge and some information, and not just telling me one thing, how the weather was, and see you later. So, I think it's good that we can still have the capacity, because, there are people our age right now, Megan, that really can't do this. They can't absorb, they can't digest. And that's a sad day.
Absolutely. You got to, you have to take advantage of every day. And, when you have a breath in your lungs, you still have a purpose. And so that's what I always say, is that when you're still alive and you're breathing, you still have a purpose. And having, I'll say it, and that's what we talked about today, is radical love, loving and appreciating people around you. And that's why I use my Sundays to call people I haven't spoke to and just share love and talk to them and say, hey, I just want to check in on you and make sure that you're good and everything's going well. And you know what? It makes their day. And you know what? I got to tell you, Doug, you're the one that taught me that. You're the one that taught me that. And that's why I do on Sundays, is I just call people I haven't talked to for a long time, and they're just so excited. But you taught me that.
You know what, too? I just say, I try to fake it. The old fake it till you make it. Try to start acting like the person you want to become. And, you only have a limited amount of experience, because you're not that person yet, but you're trying to get where you want to go. And the more that you can do that and get your mind thinking about those sort of things, the easier and better life becomes. And, wouldn't you rather have other people surrounding you that are energetic, enthusiastic, knowledgeable, and they're looking out for your interest? They're not just trying to compete with you and throw you under the bridge. So many people in athletics that I dealt with, coaches, other players, you know what? They were just trying to chop my legs out from underneath me without me even looking, hitting me from behind. And maybe I was doing the same thing to them. I don't know. But the bottom line is, it's so nice to be around people that are looking out for your good interest, your best interest. And wow, it's like so satisfying. And, I like calling people that I've even, haven't seen for a long time, like with the hometown I grew up. And once I went to college, I've never seen those people again, for the most part, probably 90% of them. And it's so great just calling them up and just reconnecting. And the same thing with football. You think of these football players, oh, they're big and tough, they're rough, they're knock people around, all that kind of stuff. No, those guys cry more than anybody. And
Mhm.
you know why? Because they've put so much work and effort into whatever they did at the time that we were together. It means something. It wasn't just some passing hobby. You know, they locked arms with you and went out every Sunday and let it loose. And just when I used to remember watching film, there would be somebody on the film that would do something spectacular, but they did it because they were trying to help me make a play, maybe get an interception, get a tackle. So they went up there and knocked down all the blockers. They didn't get any credit for it. But, I'm thinking, who does that anymore? Who goes in there and slams into everybody and smashes their car up and everything just so you can have glory? Doesn't happen too much anymore. And it only, that whole experience was only happened to me in football and sports, never in real life.
Well, but now I got to give you a couple of wins of this week, because you and I talk outside of the podcast, but you had a couple of wins. You got all your places rented.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it is. You know what? Because it isn't just having someone call you and say, "Hey, I want to rent one of your houses." And there's so much you have to, throw out. You have to be fishing. You have to be fishing for those people. And you know what I'm talking about. Put it on multiple listing. Try to use all the other services. Zillow and Redfin and all those sort of things that can help you get to where you want to go. And but you got to have a plan. And you got to start somewhere. It just doesn't happen. Somebody doesn't call you up on the phone. "Hey, here I am. I want to rent your house." No, you have to throw out some chum, so to speak. This is like you're trying to catch a big fish, and you're throwing out nice pictures, and maybe the rate that you would charge, which is very, very fair and very honorable, and all these benefits. A very nice backyard, green plants and grass, and you can do all these sort of things. You're just trying to get them to sign. "Hey, listen, I want that thing, and I'll sign on the bottom line." And it makes me laugh too, because it still amazes me when I talk to people how different they are. Some like something as simple as maybe they're in the bathrooms. Other people are like in the kitchens. Every part of the house is crazy.
Well, no, but what I want to say, and what I want to give the point is that I want to give you a shout out that you are still so driven. You are so driven, and you do everything. Like, you literally do everything. You're so driven, and you make sure that everything works. And that's why sometimes we don't talk, because I have stuff going on, you have stuff going on.
You're right.
But you're so driven. And that's what I want to engage with people and let them know that people who are successful like yourself, it's because you're so driven. You never give up. And most people would look at you and think, "Oh, he doesn't have to do anything," but you probably don't have to do anything. But the point is you still are so driven. You never give up, because and that's what I love about you. I love about you.
I have people all the time going, "Well, you're just sitting up there in Scottsdale. You're not doing anything. You're maybe answering a couple of phone calls." I go, "Listen, I wish I could spend one day with them and say, 'Hey, listen, come with me when we have to get going early in the morning.'" I laugh back in the days when I worked on the garbage truck, because that was a 4 a.m. start for the day. And it didn't end till, I was in high school, but what high school kid does that? Like in the summer, and then work on your day off, which was Saturday. And, so you have to be motivated and driven. But I got to say, I learned how to work hard, and I learned how to meet people and always ask questions. I became a Burger King franchisee by asking a question. I think I told you, I was signing autographs as a Chicago Bear at a Burger King restaurant in Chicago. And I just started talking to the franchisee about how he got involved and all this sort of thing. If you show interest in something, that's a magic button. They will open up to me. If someone asks me the right question, like, "Doug, could you help me do something? Or would you help me get involved in this or open a door?" Man, somebody did it for me. I would love to do it for somebody else. Now, it doesn't mean it doesn't require work. Even I can't go up there and just say, "Listen, this person here, because I want him to be the president of the company, he's going to be no, he's not going to work." It doesn't work that way, Megan. And you know that. There's steps you got to take. But hey, listen, get on the ladder. Get going. every day you waste is another day that you could have been making progress. And I just tell people, listen, especially if I haven't seen them for like a couple of months, I go, well, where are you at now in that process? Who did you talk to? Where did you go? And if it's no, then I'll give them a, kind of a stinging comment going, how bad do you want this? Obviously not that bad. When you start calling them up in the morning, in the afternoon, I just had somebody call me. Unfortunately, it was on their day off, which I didn't know this, but I ran down like 5 phone numbers and I end up reaching them when they were at a game watching their 9-year-old, 8-year-old children playing some baseball games or something. And I apologized. I go, listen, I didn't know this was your personal, phone that was hung up in the dugout of the baseball game. So I'm talking to them in between innings. I said, listen, I'm sorry. This conversation wasn't that important. It wasn't life or death. And, but it just goes to show you though, when I hang up the phone like that, after I've talked to somebody, I go, this person really wants this bad. I mean, you can feel it in the phone. I mean, serious. The energy is like off the charts. And same thing was true when I was hiring in companies for employees and things. You could just tell the guys that really, really, really wanted to be there and the guys that really didn't want to be there. And, I just told my wife today, I go, you know what? There's one thing I learned in running a company. You hire slowly and you fire fast. You fire quickly because you know what? You know exactly who that person is and you don't want them in your place of business.
All right. So I got to tell you something funny. So do I look thinner? Because we've been doing this whole, listen, we've been doing this because, I'm fixing my broken shoulder. We've been doing this whole cleanse, which is vegetables, broth, and orange juice. And so do I look thinner? It's not supposed to make you thin. It's supposed to make you have less inflammation. Wow. Inflammation basically, but it's a 9-day thing. And I'm sticking to it and we're all sticking to it basically as a family. But the point is I've been eating vegetables and broth for 6 days.
I'm impressed, because it's easy to do nothing and just keep eating ice cream and and
orange juice. I've never drank so much orange juice in my life.
Yeah, you know what it is? I mean, think about it. It literally makes sense though. There are certain products that really are going to help you get to where you want to go. And there's other things that, sugar-based mostly that are going to be contained in your body for a much longer time and harder to get rid of. And so, it's one of those things that, I think there's so much information out there right now. There is absolutely no reason why any person in this world, other than maybe some diseases that they have no control over, cancer, a lot of things like that. But I think you and I can both agree that probably 90% of the people out there that are overweight have control of their destiny. There are some people because of their natural instinctive their operation of their body, their dynamics are not set up to, shed calories. But at the on the other hand, there's a whole bunch of us out there that say it's totally within our reach. It's a mental decision for the way we look. It has nothing to do with, you were born that way. Nobody's born that way. It's people like to get donuts and things like that. That's what it is.
Well, what I've learned is that the chiropractor that I've been seeing for my shoulder, he's the one. And so education is everything, wisdom and education and knowledge. And so he's the one who's really, I'm going to give him a shout out, Dr. Opelli. He's amazing. And he's the one who's taught me these things. And I'm like, I never even thought about it. And he's like, you're so disciplined. Whatever I tell you to do, you're going to do. And I'm like, I know, but it really, truly helps. And so I would just say that knowledge, wisdom, in listening to people that know what they're doing is really incredible. It's really incredible.
I know you feel this way, Megan, because you care about a lot of people. There are times when I'm walking around during the day and I see a person and I know that I can help them. But, if I go over there and, I try to say something which is stupid, and I always say stupid stuff. I remember my first year with Burger King, there was a lady that came by and she had ordered a double Whopper, which is like 3 gajillion calories. It could cover you for the next 20 years, calorie wise. So she bought that and extra large fries and an extra large drink, but she wanted a diet. Isn't it too bad that by the time you get done with a double Whopper and a large fry, and now you're ordering a drink and you're saying, oh yeah, and give me a Diet Coke. No, the battle is lost. You have allowed a double Whopper with cheese in your body, along with this huge French fry. It looks like a bucket of fries. And then, you're going to try to balance it off with a Diet Coke. I said, it doesn't work that way. You either got to be in or you're going to be out. And none of this halfway stuff. Okay. Or I'll take small bites. It'll take me twice as long to eat. You know what, though? That works too. I mean, I found when I really wanted to lose weight, don't go in there and chew so ravenously like you only got 3 minutes to finish this meal. If you slow down, you digest everything and much better. Your taste is better. But there's those people out there. It's a race. It's a race.
Well, so one of my favorite quotes about that is from Dolly Parton, and she said, because she's extremely tiny, and she said that she chews everything that she eats. She chews for 10 times. And by the time she's done chewing 10 times, she's full because she's like so tiny and beautiful and spectacular. But anyway, so I always think about that when I'm eating, like chew 10 times and maybe I'll get fuller faster. But anyways, it doesn't matter.
You know what? And it's so true. Think about these fools that have these eating contests, where they're trying to eat a cake or something or a steak or something. I don't know what it is. There's a lot of those people that have actually died. They've died from eating food too fast. And it may be fun. It may be funny, looking at people chewing all this stuff up. Your whole operation isn't designed to ingest that much food down your throat that quickly without drinking or having some, something to wash it down with or whatever the case might be. And all I say is to everybody else is out there that's ever had something stuck in their throat, like a piece of steak or something like that. And it happened to me just a couple years ago. You'll never forget it. I mean, you will never, ever be a hog like you were before. You're going to slow down. You're going to cut the pieces of meat in half of what you used to stick in your mouth. And you're going to chew it much more. Then like 1, 2, and then you're trying to shove it down your throat. Really? I mean, you've only bitten down once on it, and now you're going to shove it down. How about this whole thing with enjoying your food? The taste. You can't even taste it when you're eating it that fast. It's just going from the plate to your stomach as fast as you can get it there.
Well, I for me personally, when I turned 50, I realized, I started realizing that, you're 50 and you only have so much expansion on this lifetime in this world. Right. Yep. And so I started to really think about what I was eating, what I was doing, what I was putting in my body and being proactive because I want to live to be 125. I promised my kids I would live to be 125. And anyways, the point. Yeah, no, God willing, that'll happen. But the point is that I started really thinking about because before then I was just doing whatever, putting in my body, whatever I wanted to put in. But the point is that you really got to think about it because you only have one body. And when you realize that you only have one body, you have to take care of it because it's only one. You don't get a replacement.
Megan, think of this too. And I know you could probably speak on this topic better than anybody can. When you go through your life and you're meeting people or that are on your team or you're meeting new people that you're going to do business with, what is the first thing that impacts them? Your image, your impression. They're looking at you. And if you look like you have just, swallowed 12 donuts, then they're going to think, who is this person? They have no discipline. They don't care about themselves. They're eating this crap. Sometimes I'm just overwhelmed when I sit down with people, like we're meeting and we're doing something. We sit down and have a little lunch or something, and they are like a speed test. The food is just coming off the plate. They're drinking and eating, and all their hands are all over us. Going, this is crazy. This is not a race. There's no prize for being the first finisher. And And I'm just surprised. And after I've had one choking incident, I just tell them, hey, slow down. Honestly, I tell people that now. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying, I'm not saying you're thin or fat. I'm just saying slow down, because I don't want to do some kind of a strangulation technique here to try to get that piece of steak out of your throat or whatever. Yeah, I really, really appreciate the guys that saved my life because they didn't have to.
Well, what are you talking about? When did they save your life?
Well, when I was at that plate and I got that piece of steak caught in my throat.
Oh, I had the same experience. I had the same experience. I was at Mastro's in Beverly Hills with clients of mine, and I was not eating fast. I just was talking and eating at the same time. And I was
talking.
Of course, we're always talking, you and I. I was talking. No, literally, this is a true story. It was crazy, but I was talking and eating at the same time, and I just choked on it. But the clients that I was with did not know what to do. And fortunately, there was a doctor next to us that saw me like turning blue, and she saved my life. Like literally, she saved my life. She did the Heimlich, and my clients were so funny because they were like, you almost died. And I'm like, dude, you didn't do anything. They're like, but the doctor that saw what was going, she saved my life. I took her out to lunch and I'm like, dude, you saved my life. She's like, that's what I do. That's why I'm a doctor. But it's real. But I was talking and eating at the same time. That's why I choked. But I've never had that. That was a really scary experience, honestly. And if it wasn't for that girl, and I wish I remembered her name, she's in my phone, but I wish I remembered her name because she saved my life. If it wasn't for her, because my clients were clueless. They were from like Europe and they were just like, oh, this girl's going to die.
You know what it is? Honestly, you're never the same person afterwards. Like I have not eaten a steak for probably the last 3 or 4 years since that incident. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it. I don't care if it's going to take away the quality of my life. I am not going down the steak road.
The problem is, Doug, you and I have to eat and swallow and then talk.
You're right. Honestly, that's it.
We talk while we're eating. And that's the biggest problem. Okay. So I got to tell you a really quick, funny story. So, and I just wish I remember this person's name, but it was like 25 years ago, but he's a really famous hypnotist in Vegas. And he hypnotizes people to be thin. Basically, he hypnotizes people for everything, but he hypnotizes people to be thin. And so I went to him for, I met him because we were on the speaking circuit together. Anyways, I told him, what's the funniest thing that happens when you hypnotize people to be thin? He said, the funniest thing that people say to me is, what do I eat when I'm driving? And he's like, skinny people don't eat while they're driving.
No. You think about this though. You think about probably 50% of the restaurants in our life have a drive-through though. Right. So now all of a sudden you're in the car and here's the bag of food, whatever it may be, ribs or sandwiches, hamburgers, whatever. It's sitting right next to you. That smell is emanating in the car into your nose. It doesn't matter whether you're driving in traffic and you're one-handing it, you're drinking with this hand and you're trying to get the sandwich out and eat. I mean, I've seen people like almost two-handing it. I look over, I said, how are they driving? They got a drink in one hand and a hamburger in the other. Maybe they're doing like the elbow thing, on the steering wheel. I mean, crazy stuff. But you can understand why people get in wrecks because you shouldn't be, on the phone, eating food, drinking food, giving somebody a back massage that's sitting there in the front seat with you. I mean, I've seen it all. It's crazy. And so you always have to expect the unexpected. And that's why, especially when these kids, not only kids, people on bicycles with these bicycle paths that go in front of like stop signs and stuff, you got to just stop. You got to think, man, somebody could be coming at any moment. And if I just run through, stopping quickly, because cars park right next to you, they hide the vision of the crosswalk. You can't see. And isn't it better to be a little safe than run over somebody? Yeah, I think so.
All right. So what do you have going on this week? And when should we do our next podcast? Do you want to do it Saturday or Sunday next week?
I think Saturday. I mean, I like changing things up. Don't do it the same. It's that way it never becomes monotony. And no, I think Saturday would be great. And
All right.
Saturday always feels different than Sunday. Although right now, I'll be honest with you, I have a hard time distinguishing each one of these days between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Seriously, other than Sunday, obviously everybody wants to go to church or get the service, things like that. There's nothing really that's important in your life. Even now, from a working perspective, I've never been in a position where I had to go into an office on Monday through Friday. Now, it's not to say I haven't worked all these jobs, different jobs. Most of them were independent. You're an independent you're in business for yourself. That's what I just think. I always think of myself as my own little corporation.
You are. Well, you absolutely are. You absolutely
I'm in charge of its, for its success. And if I don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. And I'm just trying to think. Maybe I read something about that one time. The game's a life of business, and it's about putting the right people on the bus. And it says on there, quickly, get the wrong people off the bus now. Don't go to the next next stop sign. Get them off now, because, and this is so true of team activities, they pull the other people down. Their effort is so low that it discourages everybody else that's working around them. And because they got to do more. And, it's whether it's true in business or in sports, the dynamics are both the same.
Correct. All right. Well, I appreciate you. I love you as always. Say hey to your wife.
I will. Yes, I will. Yeah, she's feeling great. And so, I'll definitely say hi.
Say hi. And then we'll do Saturday next week. For
Okay.
sure. Saturday. It's Saturday.
Okay, I got it. I'll write it
down.
But
I appreciate you. And we'll talk this week for sure.
Likewise.
I'll see you on Saturday.
Okay, see you then.
Bye.
Bye.